U.S. President Donald Trump is set to be acquitted in impeachment trial. Medical in Zamfara State. Now the news in full. The UK has officially left the European Union after 47 years of membership and more than 3 years after it voted to do so in a referendum. The historic movement, which happened, was marked by both celebrations and anti-Brexit protest. Candlelight vigils were held in Scotland, which voted to stay in the European Union, while Brexiters partied in London's Parliament Square. Boris Johnson has vowed to bring the country together and take the UK forward. Now, the UK department, the Prime Minister said, is astonishing movement of hope, a moment that they would never come. While President Donald Trump is set to be acquitted in his impeachment trial after said likelihood of changing its outcome. In the end, only 2 of the 4 Republicans voted with Democrats. The trial now moves forward to a vote on President Donald Trump, which is all over but certain to win. Now we're being joined in the studio by Dr. Abiodun Adeniyi, an associate professor of mass communication from Bayes University. It's a pleasure to have you in the studios.
Thank you very much.
Now, to US now, what does the senators stand? What does they mean?
Well, it's very predictable. We've always said it, that ordinarily the House of Representatives is the investigative arm of the U.S. Congress, while the Senate is the trial arm. The House of Representatives, yes, have impeached Donald Trump, but the Senate, we knew, is never going to acquiesce to the decision of the House of Representatives, because the activity in the House of Reps was not bipartisan in the first instance, and we know that the Senate, the majority of members in the Senate are Republicans, Donald Trump's party men. So we don't expect that they will remove him, as it were, and with what has transpired now, by Wednesday he will simply be acquitted, and the unlikely removal will not happen as well. But in any case, he has come on record as the 3rd president of the United States to be impeached by the U.S. House of Representatives, as it were. So that's what it is. What is just happening now is like a script, well written, well played out, and of course we saw it coming. Donald Trump is going to be acquitted on Wednesday.
All right, there seemed to be like a change in paradigm compared to what happened in the last, trial of President Clinton, right? Does this have to mean that? Does this mean that he has to be found guilty of one or both of the articles to be removed from office?
I think any one of those articles of impeachment could have taken him out if it was a bipartisan process, because they are all the two articles are actually serious enough. One, obstructing Congress, and second, dishonesty, abuse of presidential power. Any one of them are actually strong enough. Do not forget that the second one, obstructing the Congress, actually came in the course of the impeachment process. They are strong enough, but the important thing is that it is being seen as a partisan affair, first to weaken his chances of getting re-elected, and second, as a continuation of the preponderance of right or wrong opinion about his controversial victory over Hillary Clinton some years in 2016. Right. So it's a continuation. The entire process is actually controversial, but be that as it may, we do know, as a matter of fact, that in terms of figures, the Republicans have more of it in the Senate, but the Democrats are dominant in the House of Representatives. And of course, democracy is very acrimonious, but essentially democracy is about the wish of the majority, the wish of the majority triumphing over the minority. And in the U.S. Senate, as it were, the Republicans are in the majority, and the party of Donald Trump. And we do not expect them to do anything more other than to support their president. And of course, even the Republicans who are supportive of Democrats, you know, two of them have already said no, they are not going to encourage or support the invitation to witnesses, which will have elongated the trial process in the first place.
Indeed, I'm sorry to interject, but the question now is, with all of this trial, does this change the way Donald Trump is going to relate to Ukrainians and other countries?
No, I don't think so. Okay. You know, U.S. is governed by Constitution.
Right.
There are so many processes and procedures that he cannot circumvent. You know, that he cannot ride roughshod over. You know, it's not about pride. It's not about ego. It's about laws. It's about ethics. It's about Constitution. And of course, the institutions are very strong. The institutions are very wide-ranging. They are there to checkmate him, and it's not just going to be about his own wishes, his own predilections and picadillos. You know, don't forget that with what has happened is a warning to him again. I think he will go further trying to prevent the repeat of his relation of what happened between him and Ukraine.
All right. Now we're moving straight to Brexit. Now, is it a win-win deal? And what does it stand for Nigeria when it comes to relationship?
Well, we have a traditional relationship with the United Kingdom, and I don't see that declining. I see it increasing. Our president just came back from the UK over the investment summit, you know, and deals were signed. We expect that some of these deals will be executed, that they will be implemented for the benefit of our economy. So we'll have a traditional relationship. Brexit or not, you know, our relationship with the United Kingdom will continue to be sustained, you know, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Even when we had crisis in the 80s, before you knew it, you know, it was immediately resolved. Do not forget that the United Kingdom is a major tourism and education destination for Nigerian citizens, and it's going to continue to be so. So our relationship is strong, and I don't see it being discontinued. All right.
Dr. Abiodun Adeni, Associate Professor, Department of Mass Communication, Beijing University. Many thanks for coming on the News at 7 on International.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Moving forward now, the U.S. has declared a public health emergency over the spread of the coronavirus and said it will deny entry to any foreign national who have visited China in the past 2 weeks. In a public statement Friday, U.S. Health Security Secretary Alex Azar said U.S. citizens returning from Hubei province would face 14 days of quarantine, while those returning from other parts of China will be allowed to monitor their own condition for a similar period. This followed World Health Organization's decision to declare coronavirus a public health emergency. Almost 12,000 cases of the new coronavirus have been confirmed, most of them in China, and since it emerged in December. More than 100 cases have been reported outside China in the 22 countries. Beijing said Friday that the death toll had risen by 46 to 259, all of them in China, and 249 in Hubei. Report says the number of the new coronavirus cases had overtaken that of SARS epidemic, which spread more than 2 dozens. Now, as the World Health Organization, who declared the coronavirus outbreak a global health phenomenon following increasing number of deaths and spread of medical experts, advocate a well-coordinated surveillance and caution to prevent the virus from spreading to Nigeria. The medical expert view is put together by correspondent Udo Etem. The report.
World Health Organization has it that China has reported more than 7,800 cases of coronavirus, including 170 deaths. 18 other countries have since reported cases, as scientists race to understand how exactly the virus is spreading and how severe it is. Medical experts in Uyo noted that there is significant evidence that the virus is transmitting among people, and so the need to ensure a measured and evidence-based response is apt.
People traveling from other countries to Nigeria, whether they are indigenous or foreigners, they should be aware they are quarantined.
We need to strengthen the port health services and ensure that facilities are made available at our borders that can easily detect individuals with those symptoms.
Although public health agencies in Nigeria are on high alert since the spread of coronavirus in other countries of the world, medical experts say it is pertinent for the federal government to channel resources to the health sector to work towards emergencies.
The same measures that are taken at the airport should also be extended to to these other entry points into the country, so that we'll be able to protect ourselves.
At the different hospitals, there's a lot of preparedness among all the healthcare people to make sure that any case is properly contained, so people should not panic.
Medical experts, however, advise Nigerians to align strictly with the federal government directive that Nigerians and other persons in the country intending to travel to China should delay such plans until further notice. In Uyo, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
Now, Nigerian government says the restrictions of issuance of immigration visas to Nigerian passport holders does not apply to other U.S. visas, such as those for official, business, tourism and student travels. A statement by Special Advisor to the President and Media and Publicity by the U.S. government to assess and the President Muhammadu Buhari has established a committee to be chaired by the Minister of Interior to study and address the updated U.S. requirement. The committee is expected to work with the U.S. government, Interpol and other stakeholders to ensure all updates are properly implemented. Now, this is NTA International News, reaching you live from Abuja, the nation's capital. Stay tuned for more news. For staying tuned. Now, the federal government set to give Zamfara State priority in the distribution of incentives and support to boost agricultural activities in the state. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mohammed Sabo Nanunu, assures the state government officials and traditional rulers in Zamfara that the state will carry it along in the agricultural mechanization of the federal government. Musa Babaliu report.
The federal government will be executing $1.1 billion agricultural intervention program. The program is designed to assist smallholder farmers have access to heavy-duty equipment to boost agricultural activities. Government will acquire and distribute 10,000 units of tractors and 50,000 units of assorted implement. 5.1 million farmers and young Nigerians are expected to benefit from the project directly and indirectly. To this end, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Sabo Nanunu says Zamfara State and other states whose farming activities were disrupted due to banditry will be given priority in the mechanization initiative.
As this massive agricultural mechanization will touch on 632 local governments. Not only that, attached to this there will be processing centers, about 440 of them across the country. I believe all the local government in Gusau are going to be affected by the new innovation.
As the state government welcomed what the federal government offered on the table, another request came before the minister. The request is for the state to be permitted to join the $200 million World Bank Agricultural Support Program.
In the northwest geopolitical zone, where 3 states are supposed to benefit, but it's only 1 state that remains now. So we appeal to you to consider Zamfara State.
Both the minister and the state government seek traditional rulers' support in peace, rebuilding and restoring the socio-economic activities of Zamfara State. From Gusau, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And from incentive to innovations, are you one of those who are always busy with a tight schedule? And when you get back home, you want to whip up food in a minute? Well, this next story will interest you, as a Nigerian researcher has a solution to that puzzle. She is one of the 56 other researchers who have received patent right for their ingenuity in finding how to solve problems through amazing intervention and innovation. This intellectual property right and training are the instance of the National Office of Technology and Acquisition Promotion NOTAB to improve commercialization. Justin Bemui tells us more.
Okay. In fact, I have 45 different types of soup in my book to invent. But I just came out with 10 different types now. NAFDAC satisfied, SUN satisfied, and FDA satisfied.
She saw a problem, got worried, sought for a solution through research work, And now, here is the result. Priscilla Ekosayato has been able to produce more than 10 different soup mix varieties that can last for 7 months and can be swiftly made in 5 minutes.
When you see some of our youth nowadays, they don't know how to cook good soup. Some of our men, when their wife travel, they will be starving. So I thought about all these ones to relieve people from eating junks.
Priscilla here joins 57 others with their unique research findings and innovations after being trained on intellectual property rights and writing skills for grant-winning proposals, having received patents from the National Office for Technology Acquisition Promotion, NOTAP. Nigerian researchers have been making efforts to rise to the challenge of evolving technologies that will help the nation's quest to tilt towards a research and innovation-based economy. And government is encouraging them to strengthen the culture of protecting intellectual property by patenting to foster commercialization.
These are the challenges the present government of President Muhammadu Buhari is emphasizing on linkages between research institutions, academia, and industry with a view to commercializing research findings that are valuable and rich and could equally translate to commercial activities.
Linkages between research institutions, academia, and industry, which has been lacking, is intensified with the NOTAP Industry Technology Transfer Fellowship NITTF initiative, having today handed over another thesis of a graduate fellow to the sponsoring company for possible commercialization.
Yeah, the invention, you see, if a child is weaned, you understand, it needs some kind of food that has a lot of nutritive value. And this lady worked on that. And she's been able to formulate a very good winning food, which maybe Nestle may be able to commercialize it. So this is the part of partnership between researchers and the private sector. And unless research and development is commercialized, it has little or no economic value to the system. So that is what we want to change.
From 2015 to 2019, 184 researchers have so far obtained patents. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Many thanks, Justin, and I'm looking forward to certifying the soup. Once misunderstood as a symbol of oppression, the hijab is now gaining world recognition as a positive symbol of dignity for Muslim women. Correspondent Najatu Tijani gained the perspective of different Muslim women who attended the World Hijab Day lecture series in Abuja.
Although they hail from different tribes and backgrounds, they are bonded by sisterhood in Islam, with the hijab as their identity. One which Ruqayya in her 20s wears proudly.
I'm currently doing my master's programs. When people see you, there's a respect that comes with your dressing. Ignorant comments have been said. I've understood that it came from a place of not understanding.
Such misconceptions are what the Coalition of Muslim Women Societies says need to be gently but firmly corrected. And the annual World Hijab Day, established in 2013 by Nazma Khan, provides such a platform.
Hijab is in obedience to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that the woman should cover.
Misconception that people have with the wearing a hijab is that you cannot achieve and you cannot become what you want to become because you are dressed in a certain way. This is not so.
The way I dress has never in any way been an obstacle either to me achieving or realizing my full potential as a woman.
Our young girls, especially in universities now, are making it easy because they are coming out with first class. They are hijabis and they are always the best all-round students all over in all the universities in Nigeria.
With so many misconceptions about the hijab, young people are beginning to talk about and even write about what hijab means to them.
As a proud Muslim, hijab is my life.
Lectures, discussions and school performances, all hailing the right to wear the hijab. A right which Ruqayya says promotes rather than stunts her. Najatu Tijani, NTA News.
Now, how best can we have a friendly environment for the future, and how can natural disaster best be tackled are some of the questions 2020 Future City Competition with the theme Clean Water Tap into Tomorrow seeks to address in its project-based learning program. Ahmed Jabani reports that 11 teams participated in the regional finals.
Future City Competition is for junior secondary school students, encapsulate research, design and building cities of the future. After researching, designing and writing up their solutions to a city-wide range issues and building a scale model of their city, teams are here to present their vision to a panel of judges with the hope of representing Nigeria in the finals coming up on the 18th of February 2020 in Washington.
All the buildings in our cities is supposed and must have a drainage, so there will be easy flow of water when it rains or even when it's flooding.
If a natural disaster like a hurricane or a wildfire comes, our water supply has been reinforced with a glass dome which has steel wires in order to improve fire resistance.
Based on the current estimate by the United Nations, 2 billion people representing 25% of the world's population do not have access to clean water. With that number expected to double, it is expected that a water-resilient future city must be prepared to address a wide range of risks, including drought, flooding, population change, natural and man-made disasters, and economic recession.
Looking at the way that the kids will begin to get aware of their environment. We're talking about climate change. Every day things are changing, so there's a need for us to get the children aware.
At the end of 4 hours presentation, which the judges were critical, Terra City team emerged winners after scoring 106.5 points, followed by Murdoch and Black Panther teams with 69.5 points each. Ahmed Jabani, NTA News.
Now let's join Uche Ugochukwu for the week in review.
Thank you. The meeting of the National Security Council emphasized the need for better collaboration and synergy between government agencies and society at large in the task of securing the nation. Before the meeting, President Muhammadu Buhari met with former President Goodluck Jonathan in a closed door, and detail of the discussion was not made known to journalists. Still on security, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo held a special town hall meeting in Ebonyi State to mark the 50th anniversary of the end of the Nigerian Civil War. There, the need for Nigerians to embrace dialogue in resolving issues that brought about the Civil War was re-emphasized. In the outgoing week, the Federal Executive Council held its first meeting in the year 2020 and immediately swung into action by approving the signing of a tripartite agreement among Nigeria, the island of Jersey and the USA on the repatriation of over $320 million recovered as looted funds. Also, the National Assembly resumed after the Christmas and New Year break. Among issues at plenary were the House of Representatives passing of the National Roads Funds Bill, which seeks to make available special funding to ensure routine and periodic maintenance of federal roads across the country. On the judiciary, the Federal High Court, Abuja, granted bail to the former Senator representing Kaduna Central, Shehu Sani, in the sum of 10 million naira, while the FCT High Court convicted and sentenced Miriam Sanda to death by hanging for the willful murder of her husband Bello Haliru in the course of a domestic disagreement. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed in faraway London also opened talks with his counterparts in the UK on how to fast-track the return of Nigeria's Ife bronze that was stolen from the Jos National Museum over 30 years ago. During the week under review, the World Health Organization on Thursday declared the outbreak of coronavirus that has spread from China to other countries as a global health emergency. On sports, all is set for the 2020 Para-Powerlifting World Cup, billed for February 4 to 6 in Abuja. This is the week in review. Thanks for being a part of it. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
Many thanks, Uche. And on a solemn note, President Muhammadu Buhari sent condolences to the family of Thomas Eto president of the Fertilizer Producer and Suppliers Association of Nigeria, over the passing of his wife, Jennifer Ramatu Etu. President Muhammadu Buhari joins friends, family and well-wishers in mourning Mrs. Etu, whose life and time on earth was lined with good work, most remarkably a love and care for the weak, sick and the underprivileged. In a statement by the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, at this solemn session of deep reflection for the family, the President urges more focus on God and his numerous blessings, believing that Mr. Etuk's wife, left a good record of kindness to her husband, children, and everyone close to her. Up next is the weather forecast. And that concludes the NTA International News at 7. Many thanks for watching. I'm Abdul Malik. Adieu.